Hey everyone, my name is Adam Juratovac and I'm getting one of those hair transplants you've been hearing about. Now, I'm 38 years old, I live in San Jose, California, and I've been seeing all the Instagram ads that everyone else has been seeing for the last couple of years. Now, one thing about this surgery is I'm not going to Turkey for it, I'm not going to Mexico, I'm staying right here in California and getting it done stateside. So that way, if anything goes bad, I have someone who could be held accountable here in California. Also, because I hear there's a lot of problems that could occur when you're getting those types of surgeries, especially because of how invasive they are. So if anything goes wrong, I want to be able to have my doctor who can treat it here stateside and in California. So the reason I'm getting this is not for any particular health reason, but more so because I think it'll make me feel better. I think it will help elongate the hairstyle I have right now, which I really enjoy. I call it law firm partner hair. And ultimately, I used to go play football, and there's that one adage, I think it was made famous by Deion Sanders, where it said, look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. So that's why I'm doing it. So I did my research for about 6 months to a year after looking at all of the Instagram advertisements that, we were targeted for. And, I started looking at different places where people can get that procedure done. I started doing some research on the surgeons. I started doing research on different clinics and institutes and hospitals who also provide that same procedure. And, I figured that the reward is much greater than the risk. So what we're going to be doing is they're going to be taking out 3,500 hair follicles from the back and the sides of my head, and then implanting those 3,500 hair follicles to the top of my head. And, apparently with each one of those hair follicles, each of them, as soon as they get planted in there, you have to picture it like you're planting a garden and you're planting a bunch of seeds in that garden. So just because a seed gets planted doesn't mean it's going to take. Just because a seed gets planted doesn't mean it's going to sprout. So when we are planting those seeds, the hair, your head, need to collaborate, combine, and join up as one. And that's one of the reasons why they're going to be doing so many. Because oftentimes, I heard that when they're doing this procedure and they're taking parts of the sides and the back of your head out, well, realistically, they are taking part of your head out. They're taking the follicles out of your head, and then they plant them in the top and plant them other places. If you go from head to head, then there is a 90% hit rate or a 90% success rate on those individual hair follicles successfully getting implanted and then growing in their new location. Now, if you start taking hair follicles from other spots on your body, like your chest, your beard, your back, or your legs, then I heard that those hair follicles, aside from maybe looking a little bit different from your hair normally would look, those hair follicles have about a 40 to 50% chance of taking, a 40 or a 50% chance of successfully getting implanted and growing for the rest of your life. Now, one of the reasons why I'm staying in California is because I trusted the doctor when I had a consultation. The doctor mentioned something about people going to Turkey or people going to Mexico doing the same procedure and getting exactly what they wanted. So when people would talk to them about what they wanted their future of hair to look like, they would say, I want a hairline down to here, I want a big mohawk and everything else where you're moving actual hairlines inches, right? Not millimeters, but inches. Now, apparently if you go to some of the certain hospitals, certain providers will give you exactly what you want if you tell them that you want it. So if you tell them that you want your hairline moved down 2 different inches, they're going to give it to you. But at the same time, they're also going to be taking those hair follicles from a different location, which may not have a higher success rate, might not have that 50% success rate as the other. It will have that 50% success rate that you have on the other parts of your body, as opposed to the 90% success rate you have on your head. So one piece that made me trust this surgeon was He didn't say I could have exactly what I wanted, but he said, based on what you want and the natural look you want afterwards, he would only limit, or he would set a maximum amount to how many hair follicles I would transplant from the sides and the back of my head to the top. Now, apparently if you go to Turkey, they're going to start from the top and go down. So if you want 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 new hair grafts, and you don't have enough in your head without making your head look patchy, they're going to start taking your beard, and then your eyebrows, then your chest hair, then your back hair, then your arm hair, then your leg hair, and then try to implant those individual hair follicles on top of your head. Now, I don't have the science. I don't know the exact number of the likelihood of success for each of those individual hair follicles from those different regions, but there's something about it that just seems more trustworthy if you're taking hair follicles from your head and then implanting them back on your head. So that's why I trusted him. I told him I wanted my hairline to move down a little bit more. He said, Adam, I get it. You can't do it because you won't have enough hair on the other parts of your head where we have to remove the hair follicles from. Another reason why I'm doing this is because I can. I'm, fortunate enough to be able to, put myself through this, opt into this type of surgery where it's not required, not mandatory, but instead it will, give me an aesthetic that I believe I want or what I'm used to without having to impact too many other parts of my life. Like, for example, I think that confidence is huge, especially in anything you do in all walks of life. When you walk into a room, it depends on the confidence you have. And, I've been bald before in my life, and I can tell you confidence doesn't have to do with hair. However, for some people it does. And for some people, the look that they want, if it makes them feel good, if they look good, then they feel good, and then they'll perform better. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing it. I didn't make this decision overnight. Trust me, I was definitely targeted by these Facebook ads and Instagram ads for months before I even clicked on one to even look into it. And I think it wasn't even those Instagram ads that made me convinced that I wanted one. It was more so the people who I started following on the internet, the people I started following on social media, started getting them, and I started seeing their post-surgery stories about recovery. And actually, my hairstylist over in San Jose, California, over at Mesh Hair, Erin, she had a client who did actually get the procedure and who did get it done in California. And I actually had an opportunity to meet him about 8 months to a year after he completed the surgery, and he looked great. He was telling me about all the successes, all the hardships, all the things that you needed to experience throughout that healing journey. And, it's not easy, but at the same time, he had some positive suggestions, positive advice, and, he had a good story to tell. So at that point, it took me about a month or two afterwards, after meeting that gentleman, to actually schedule my own consultation for one of these hair transplants. And as soon as I had the consultation, I didn't pull the trigger right there, but I knew I wanted it right there. It took me about a month before I finally confirmed and signed a contract and started pushing it through. And even after I signed the contract, it still took me another 5 months to actually schedule the date because I'm an employment lawyer over here in San Jose, so I have court, I have mediations, I have different appearances where I would rather have my regular head of hair as opposed to a shaved head. And so I needed to schedule around those. And also, when you're in a deposition, my opinions change now. When I was in a deposition, I would want to have my full head of hair so I feel normal and confident. But now thinking about it, I have a deposition scheduled at the end of this month in about 25 days post-surgery. And I can't wait to be stuck in a room for 8 hours, questioning the witness with my head looking the way that it does. So I think it'll help me get more honest answers from the deponent. But I'm going to be here. I'm going to make a bunch of these videos to talk about it because I know this is something that dudes don't really talk about, and society the way it is, not too many people like talking about vulnerabilities generally. And I think that after my surgery, which is going to be in 2 days, today's Tuesday, it's going to be on a Thursday. we're gonna see how different I look. We're gonna see how my face looks. You know, I started watching some of these videos that talk about the process of recovery, and apparently after day 1 your face is looking all right, day 2 your face is looking all right, day 3 and 4 your face starts swelling because of all the swelling going from your head down to your face, which is another reason why you're not allowed to sleep sitting down for about 4 days after the surgery, because you want the blood to keep on swelling down, or the blood swelling to go down and move from your head to the rest of your body. So I'm not excited to make that video, but I promise I will. And if anything weird happens, or if there's any changes or big drastic changes that occur, I'll make sure to let you know. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'm gonna keep on making these videos. Hopefully it's all good, right? Hopefully it's all good. If it's bad or indifferent, at least everyone who's watching these videos are gonna understand what just a random guy does, and you know, what could potentially happen if you undergo that procedure. So I've been prepping, I've been staying clean, I haven't drank, I haven't smoked, haven't done anything bad, because I want to make sure that my body is as solid as possible and as secure and stable as possible before the procedure, because I want my hair to be able to heal as quickly and as effectively as possible, and I don't want any of these external factors being able to affect and impact that negatively. So I'm doing all the right stuff. I'm still going to follow all the doctor's orders. I'm going to follow all the doctor's directions, and we'll see what happens, right? We'll see. Also, down to answer any comments. It might take me a day or two, but I promise I'll be answering them in real time as quickly as I possibly can. But if you have any questions or comments about this procedure, or about some of the considerations I made before taking this procedure, or anything that would be funny, or any jokes that you want to say about it, feel free to drop them in the comments, because I think anything that'll make me laugh will be positive, and it'll actually help with my healing process. So again, it's Adam Juratovac. I'm getting a hair transplant surgery on May 1st, 2025, and this is my story. Oh yeah, welcome to San Jose.